There we go. Okay. So welcome everyone. Today's February 17th, the Lunar New Year, and our peer learning network for meeting for February. And today we are excited to have Jennifer Alger here. And we're gonna I'm gonna let her introduce herself in just a moment, but just so she has, this is her first time with us, and so just so she has a sense of who's in the room, just want to go around and introduce ourselves, and hopefully everyone can just come off mute at that time and say hello, and just for the recording as well, have that down there. So I'm Kathleen. I'm with the Forest Business Alliance. I'm the facilitator for these online calls based in Washington State. So welcome. And I'll just go around clockwise and ask people to say. So Jim, do you want to just go ahead and go next?
Hi, yes, I'm Jim Adrians. I work with the Forest Business Alliance as a part-time consultant and mostly with the Peer Learning Network. I live in Portland, Oregon, and that's all.
Thanks, Jim. Jeff, you want to go ahead?
Yes, I'm Jeff Grief. I live in Quincy, which is Northern California, mountains, Plumas County, and I'm working a startup to create a biomass processing facility here in Quincy, and currently looking for funding to build a facility to process biomass.
Thank you, Jeff. Tom, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, Tom Maseko. I live in Chicago. I am a independent consultant in the finance realm, spending most of my time focused on kind of purpose-driven, value-driven businesses, and helping them think about long-term planning, finance strategy, fundraising, things of that nature.
Thanks, Tom. And Martin.
Martin Trier, Biomass Program Director for the Watershed Center, and one of the FBA team members.
Thanks, Martin. And Jasmine.
Hi, everybody. Jasmine Goragati, and I'm the Chief Resilience Officer for Happy Camp Community Action, a small nonprofit in Happy Camp, California. And we are working on planning and implementation of a biomass campus in the Happy Camp area.
Great. And Jasmine, have you been on a peer learning network call before?
I've been on at least one, if not two.
Okay, great. Welcome back. Okay. So that gives a little bit of an overview, Jennifer, of who's here, and there's lots more people on the listserv and part of the peer learning network who come from time to time and also watch the recording. So that'll be nice for them to watch this. And did you have slides, Jennifer, or you were just going to speak?
I do,
Okay.
yeah.
I
I felt like it would be easier to explain what it is I'm going to talk about if you can see it. So,
Yep, that sounds
yeah.
great. So whenever you're ready, either you can try to share and I'll probably have to give you permission to do it. We'll see how it goes, or I'll make you co-host, or we'll do it however you want to do it.
Looks
Or
like
you
it's
can
going
just
to
do it.
let
Look at
me.
that.
Do you see a green Far
There
West
we
logo
are.
there?
Yep,
All right.
now we do. And you can probably, yeah, make it full screen.
Oh, I just moved it out of your way, didn't I?
Yeah, it's gone now. There it is.
All right. All right. I've got it on my other monitor, so I got to do something with my microphone here so I can see the screen too.
Right, got
See what
it.
I'm talking about. So my name's Jennifer Alger, and now that I know a little bit about what you do, I'll kind of cater what I'm going to talk about a little bit to you working with other businesses, trying maybe you're working with a business that is trying to implement a forest products wood utilization plan and wants to sell the lumber, wants to track the lumber, that sort of thing. I'll kind of tell my story and how we came to this, and hopefully you know someone you can communicate this to and help them out as well. This is my dad, and so the first slide is my dad salvaging an old growth giant sequoia windfall. And so I just wanted to, I grew up in a traditional forestry family. So I was born into this industry. I know that's one of the questions people always ask, how did you get into this? And so my dad put us to work very young. We weren't actually using chainsaws at that age, but it wasn't much later. And so we had a packaged firewood business. We actually grew it to all of Northern California with the labels and the barcode and all of that stuff into the Safeway and Rayleigh's and Long's Drugs back when they had those. And so we worked with firewood. And in the 90s, we bought our first sawmill. We bought a wood miser, and in 2000 they reached out to us and said, "Hey, you are praising our product so much. You use it, you like it. What do you think about being our representatives for California and Nevada?" We're like, "Yeah, we'll try that. We'll see how it goes." And now, 25 years later, we're the exclusive representative for Wood Miser in California and Nevada. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm heading to Eugene for a logging conference tomorrow morning. So in the 90s, I took over our business, and I just really looked at it and I was like, okay, put on that marketing hat, marketing 101. What sets us apart? What's different about Far West Forest products that we need to market, that we need to sell? And what I realized was our source. 90% of what we were doing at that point was urban wood, salvaged wood, and reclaimed wood. And about 10% was traditional forestry, because that was our roots, but it had just shifted, and it shifted a lot because of the logging climate in the state of California, and what was available and the cost of things. And so I realized, after growing up in forestry and being criticized for my family's, income, that I started to do the science behind it and really learn about wood and the carbon storage benefits of it, and what a wonderful, wonderful thing that wood utilization and the carbon storage within it was for the environment. And it was just mind-blowing. So I decided that with this urban salvaged and reclaimed wood that we were selling, that we would, I guess it would help if I did slideshow, wouldn't it? That we would, that's what I needed to market. And I'm struggling to see my screen here, so hold on just a second. I thought I hit slideshow.
If you just turn it to from current slide,
Okay,
I think it'll start. Yep.
Now I see it.
There he is. Thank you.
I'm
Yes.
looking over my microphone arm, and so I'm struggling to see it. So
Got
I
it.
apologize.
Perfect. Thank
These
you.
are just some of the things that we do that's not traditional. It's a little more on the urban, the salvaged, the reclaimed. We manage a store here in Olivehurst where we sell other Urban Wood Network members product that goes through a chain of custody, USRW certified urban wood. I sit on the Urban Wood Network board, and we're writing standards for the urban salvaged and reclaimed wood industry. And so this is just some of what we do. And as we've got the traditional wood coming through, we've got the urban salvage and reclaim coming through, and much of the stuff has a story. Even the traditional that we're getting, that's coming from the more traditional sources, has a story. It's local wood. It came off of there was a salvage permit, or a fire had gone through. There's a lot of different stories, or, oh, this came from the Paradise Fire. So maybe it's not urban, but it has a story, a lot of it. And so we wanted to be able to tell that story. We needed to tell the chain of custody. A lot of our buyers want to know that. Even if it did come from traditional forestry, you need to be able to show your trip ticket or something to prove where it came from. And so chain of custody, it's not new. People have been doing it forever. It's, how you prevent theft, and how, all of the tracking that needs to go into it. FSC does it, and a lot of different things do that. But there really wasn't a great way for smaller landowners to fit into that, or for urban wood producers, or other things, and or other sources. And so traditionally, and I remember my dad with his log hammer, and he'd hit the end of the logs to track so that he knew which ones were his when he got, they got to the mill, so he would get paid. So there were a lot of different things, but as we transitioned and we're bringing, the logs in, we wanted to know what logs do we have in inventory, what, if a customer wanted something that, like for instance, Patagonia, they order from us for their timber frame builds that they do. And they always want to know that it's salvaged. They'll allow for forest salvage, but they want to know the story on it. They want to know that, that it was sourced legally and ethically, and that we actually own the logs at that point. And then we want to track it through to what was produced out of it. And so, we've had paint, we've had Excel spreadsheets, we've had notepads. We even had someone build us an Access database. I don't know if you guys remember those, but we, used those. We've tried Airtable. We tried a lot of different things. And so they just, nothing was working. Nothing would tell the backstory, follow the chain of custody, tell us how much we have in each species and in what dimension and what the value was. There were no good inventory systems on the market. And so we made one. And what we created is called Ancestree. And so Ancestree is an app that tracks your chain of custody. It allows you to share and sell. And it's not just urban wood. A lot of our users, we have users across the US and into Canada, and many of them aren't even using urban wood. We found that, okay, that was part of the reason I needed it, was to track that. But so many different people just wanted to track their lumber. They wanted to know, if I get a quote come in, what do I have in a given species and in a given dimension, and is it dry? And if someone wants to know the chain of custody or the history on it, what does that look like, and how can I show that and prove that? And so what started as a process to help me bail myself out of the chaos that our company had grown into became something that we knew could change the forestry industry. There's lumber inventory management programs out there, but they really were very catered towards the very large companies that were doing the same thing over and over and over. They're, SPI, they're doing 2x, they're doing this, they're doing, those inventory systems cost millions and served an industry that made sense. And so, and this slide's a little more, not for you, but for maybe people that you're speaking to, it can help grow their business. It can help them know. It's a wonderful tool that just helps them know what they have. So this is how they would connect with that. They would go to Ancestree.io and they would register to get started. We offer a free, right now, we're getting ready to change some of our pricing, but we offer a free, a professional, and a trailblazer. This is per month. Once we launch the marketplace, there will be a rate change. And basically, you just take your cell phone and you scan the QR code. And when you scan the QR code, you can manage inventory that's already there. You can add inventory. You can process inventory. You put in the species, you put in the dimensions of the log, and then as you process it, you can tell what you got out of that log. You got 2 units or bundles of 4-quarter white oak, or whatever it is. You can tell that story, or it can be a slab, or whatever it is that you're wanting to manage. And it auto-calculates the board footage based upon the dimensions, and it auto-calculates the carbon storage in that material as well, so that if the consumer is concerned about that, you're able to share that with them and have that be a value add to your selling point as a user of Ancestree. And so Ancestree has several different tagging methods. One of the really cool things, and this is what we use here, is one of these hammers. And been out, you may have seen these before. We're not the only, Sinumat, we don't own them. We just have them make tags for us, and we do pre-printed batches, so you're never duplicating those numbers. And most inventory systems that we looked at on the market had, and there was nothing really for what we were doing, but the ones that we thought we could kind of hack into, our problem that we kept coming up against is the guys who are out in the field, the sawyers, or the log, if they're salvaging a log, maybe it's the tree service, maybe it's the logger, whatever they are, they aren't going to run back into the office and print these tags out and then go match them to whatever inventory they have. They don't have time for that, and they're just not going to do it. So what we did is we pre-printed these tags, and they have batches, so people can order these tags. Most of our users will order the tags in advance, and they have them on all of their tree service professionals or their loggers or at the log yard when the logs come in. If they got a log that they need to, or a load of logs that they need to track the chain of custody on, they do not have to tag every log. They can tag a log and do it as a grouping, or as a, this load of logs goes with this, and then you just put it in, and then they're able to track what they've got, where it came, that chain of custody, that trip ticket. They can prove whether it's that it was sourced ethically, or the provenance, or whatever it is they're trying to track. You can put that in there, and then and that's what this guy's doing here. He's just tagging this whole load. Here's the story on it. Or if he's custom milling that for someone else, he can tag it so they know who those belong to, so that they can get that back out to the right owner or consignor or whatever they're doing. Another option is we have these vinyls over here, and you can just print those out, and we use those a lot. You can print those off of your printer, and you could even just use paper if you wanted, but paper's not gonna last very long. But these vinyl ones, we've been testing them outdoors for 2 years, and they're holding up great, but we mostly use them indoors because we still, 2 years, on these big timbers that were air drying before they pop in the kiln, we just want to make sure that it's right. And so those are some of the different tagging methods that we have, and being able to have everybody have a batch of these in their bag to tag in the field. They can put who owned this, where it came from. They can put the backstory, but they can also put the future stuff, or cost of goods sold can go in there. And how are we going to saw these? Are these going to be slabbed? Is this going into 4/4 material? Is it going into cants to be processed later? You can put that sawing method in, and then so a manager can do that, and then your sawyer can just come grab those logs out of that deck, and they know then how to process them. They don't have to have that constant communication. They just scan it, and it tells the story. Oh, here's what I do with this log. Oh, you want that milled on that mill, in that mill line. So I'm going to show this little video here. If I can get it to play. There it is. So just tagging. And then he's going to grab his phone. Not a techie person at all. He's going to grab his phone, because anybody can point a phone at a QR code and get it to scan. Oh, I never noticed that ant on there. And then it scans it. It adds that QR code to whatever this is, and then he just starts adding in he's not very fast at typing, but he is able to put that in there, and he can tag each log, or he could have tagged that in a group and kept that deck separate somehow. But that's essentially what he's doing. He's going to select the species. That's getting fixed so that it pre-populates your most common species, but that'll be next month. We can put lots of the different information in there, and that's all I'm going to show of that. If I can make this go away. And then we don't really have time for that video. It's kind of a long video. We'll go to this. So one of the important things for an inventory system is not just to know what you have, but to know where it is. So where is the product? And that was one of the things that we struggled with is, we'd know that we had, 3 units of extra fancy Claro walnut, high figured. We know we milled it. We know it's dried. Gosh, but where did we put it? We have 2 facilities, and okay, is it in Sheridan? Is it in Olivehurst? Is it in this barn? Is it in that warehouse? Where is it? And so we had our Ancestree project manager, Andrew, map out our storage locations, and he does that for different users of Ancestree as well. So you have your parent location, you've got a one-site example and a multi-site example, so you're able to really drill down and know exactly where things are. And I'll kind of show a scenario of that here in a minute.
Jennifer, we are still seeing the app.
I'm sorry?
We are still seeing the app. Unless, did you
The
change back to the
video,
Oh, you are?
the paused
Oh,
video
Yes.
is still there.
okay. I'm going to stop sharing. And see if that helps. And I'll get forward and then I'll reshare and hopefully we're caught up. How's that?
Yep.
That's better.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
I won't
Martin.
play any more videos. So, so this was just, I was talking about one site example or multi-site. Andrew helps people lay out their storage locations so that now that you know what you have, you're going to know where it is. This is just another example of that. So that and even our kilns are as storage locations. And this, I won't play this, or we're probably going to have the same scenario, probably user error here on the PowerPoint, but that's just showing how you would walk through and find on the app the storage locations and where they are. But I'll show, did this screen advance to a hot mess? Okay, good. So here's one of our locations, logs everywhere. Here's the other location, 2 buildings. You can see which one my dad manages versus the one I manage. Nice and tidy, But so then we broke down our 2 buildings in Olivehurst, and each of the buildings is broken down into storage locations essentially, and all of that data, and it's very simple to put in, but all of that data is put into the app. Which building is it, building A or building B, and then going through the racks, or is it on this wall, or where is it in these buildings? And so so we're looking, somebody called in, they're looking for item number 103904. They just bought it. Or no, they bought it online, and we need to go find it. So we determined, I'll back up here, we determined that it's in building A based upon this, and then we determined that it's on rack 4. So we're going to go to rack 4. There's rack 4 physically in this building, and he goes to rack 4, bay 1, and there it is. So he's able to find it. So instead of going, oh, I know we have this slab, or I know we have this, all of this lumber, where is it? We can now walk right to it. And so that's one of the things that people report back to us. We're using the app over and over again is, man, we love the QR codes we can take out in the field, and we love being able to know where our stuff is when we need to go find it, and just quote things right away. So we knew that we needed to get organized in order to grow. And we know that any other business out there, they need to get organized in order to grow too. chain of custody tracking, we already kind of talked about that. I won't go into that too much anymore. This is just showing a copy paste feature. I won't play this again, but that log was already in inventory. He pops it on the mill, clicks process on the app, makes a bunch of slabs, and then after he makes those slabs, he's not having to manually enter that data each time. It does a copy paste feature, and then any minor tweaks that need done as far as width dimensions, he's able to modify those afterwards. So with the urban wood and the local wood movement growing rapidly and becoming an industry, we needed a platform that would allow wood users to purchase and sell their wood in one easy centralized location. And I know we're working with the Watershed Resource and Training Center on a grant that they had to implement Ancestry for the local wood tracking, and it won't be urban, it'll be traditional forestry, but to work with them to put together a small sawmill collaborative of 10 to 20 sawmills in Northern California who are feeding inventory into Ancestry that then a salesperson is able to sell, or buyers can go onto a marketing platform and make those purchases right there. So it's helping the small businesses, but it's also helping the design community, the architects, the builders, to be able to source locally grown wood that they can track the chain of custody and sustainability on, and show that carbon storage. So they're not, we're not importing into California from Pennsylvania or from Canada when we can help it. We're keeping it local, which reduces the carbon footprint and gets and helps the local economy and local forestry here in this area. And that would be true for those in Pennsylvania, when we can help it, not shipping wood from California, but using what's locally grown, and just really trying to duplicate that model across the US and beyond. So coming soon, Ancestry Urban Lumber Market and Multi-Vendor Marketplace. So it's already working, but we haven't publicized it yet because we're making it a little bit prettier. But Ancestry has a aggregated marketplace where we are going to be bringing all the different users' products who want to sell online and pushing those up so that people can buy in an Amazon-style shop or eBay or Etsy type of a shopping experience from multiple vendors, but they're just going into one cart, and then each vendor gets a notification, here's what you have to ship today, and are able to ship it. And so the California Wood Supply Group that we're working on with the Watershed Center, the collaborators will be able to go into their own single vendor marketplace, and then on to which Far West uses a single vendor marketplace now, and then also up to the aggregated marketplace. And we're going to change that from Urban Lumber Market to, or actually we already have, I just didn't update my slides, urban and local lumber marketplace, so that it's really, it's a lot more inclusive and still following with those same principles, that purpose-driven model of local and sustainable and regenerative, but not exclusive to urban. So users will be able to search by cut type, species, grade, wood type, board footage, price range, thickness, width, length, and what vendor, because there'll be multiple. And these are just fake businesses here, but you would be able to search through those, pop two different things into the cart from each of these, and the customer would only see one thing. And this could be big timbers, units, full truckloads of lumber, or these one-offs like we have here. You pop them in the cart, and there's something in the cart, and it gives all this different information, including the carbon stored in that. And so what Far West does through our single vendor, somebody comes in the store, and we would be able to pop, they could either self-check out, they can literally self-check out and pay on their own, or we can put the things in the cart, sends it over to a terminal, and it takes that payment unless it's cash, send it to the terminal, and then it automatically goes to QuickBooks. So we're not having, as a small business, to go into our QuickBooks and record that sale. It comes from Ancestry Inventory Management into the marketplace through an API, or basically a computer handshake between the two, and then from there over into Square and on into QuickBooks. So it's taking a lot of the guesswork, a lot of the error and frustration away from these small businesses. And those who are using the multi-vendor marketplace are also getting, so some of these businesses, these guys just want to be out there sawing. They don't want to deal with sales tax. They don't want collection. They definitely don't want to deal with reporting it. They don't want to deal with shipping calculations or crating specs. And so one of the things that the aggregated vendor marketplace allows them to do is sell the product, and then Ancestry gives them, pays them back and takes a very small percentage to cover costs, and it's a very modest percentage. And then Ancestry handles through a third-party software. Avalara does the tax calculations and reporting, and it does it based upon where that vendor is located and into where that product shipped, so that based upon whatever state, county, or city that they're in, to make sure that we're collecting and reporting the correct sales tax. And these small businesses love that because they hate that part of their job. So it's doing some of the heavy lifting for them as well. And this is just some of the what's next. Some of that we've already done. And yeah, so that's essentially what Ancestry is. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Or if anybody wants to get onboarded, right now we're onboarding every person individually, because we've been out a little over a year, and we want to work with those customers to get feedback and making the product better. We're getting ready to, probably within the next 60 days or so, transition to video onboarding in small chunks, so that people can do it on their time, instead of making sure that one of our staff is available to onboard them. But yeah, that is in a nutshell it. So if somebody would like to reach out to me, Jennifer@ancestry.org, or I think most of you who already know me, reach out to me at Jennifer@farwestforest.com. I'll answer to both. And then that's my cell number if you would like to reach out.
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Does anyone have questions to start? Because we do have time if you wanted to go through more specific details, the what's next kind of specifics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will go back to that slide and see if it's still
And then we
current.
can
If
also
not, I'll
take any
talk through what
questions.
is.
Okay.
Dun, dun. All right. And this would apply, just to Log and Lumber Scale app. A lot of people struggle with the math on determining, how many board feet is on this semi-load, knowing how to calculate that, how to deduct for the stickers. And so having an app, or having that built into the app, is something that we're working on. Tracking the rest of the tree, such as biochar, firewood, pulp, etc. We do have a developer looking at how Ancestry can do that with what we have now. Tracking of the tree while living, including inventory and maintenance. So we've worked with a couple of different geo-tracking tree. This is more on the urban wood side, but I'm sure it could play over into the traditional forestry as well. They already have their trees inventoried at a municipal level for the most part. And so just tying into their system through an API, basically a computer handshake between the two, so that when that tree can no longer be maintained and needs to be scheduled for removal, that automatically uploads over to Ancestry, and they're able to just track that full circle or full life cycle of the tree. And custom milling app that tracks milling time and invoices the customer directly. And that would be pretty simple to do. We haven't started that yet because we're perfecting the marketplace first. That'll be our next release. And then we've definitely been exploring carbon markets using our carbon tracking system through Ancestry and what that would look like, and trying to get urban wood included in the carbon tracking protocol. And we've applied for a few grants in that regard, but then everything kind of went crazy, and so those grants didn't go anywhere. But those are some of the things that we'd like to do in the future. And then we just keep a little list of what our users are looking for, what they're asking for, what they're struggling with, and where their pain points are, and then just helping them overcome them. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can open it up to questions now. And anyone's welcome to just come off with mute. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, hi, Jennifer. Thank you for this. I'm wondering whether this might have application in biomass situation where people may begin to want to know where their biomass is coming from. Now, right now, truckloads of chips going to a energy production facility. I don't think they're asking for any kind of chain of custody and where the material has come from. But what I'm doing is trying to move biomass into the horticulture industry, and those people are very concerned about where their materials come from. So, do you see a possible application of keeping track of chain of custody of large quantities of biomass, truckloads of wood chips? Does
We
that?
we have been approached on that before, and it's definitely something that we said we will consider. And I have a hard time saying no. Anything like that excites me, but I know we have a task set before us to complete the marketplace and get those things done. But then biochar, the rest of the tree is definitely something that we are planning to look at, but we haven't put a lot of thought onto what that would look like yet. So
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I think the possibilities are endless when it comes to what the tracking can do.
Yeah, maybe it comes down to who wants the tracking and what they want. You want to, of course, custom tailor the solution to supply the users with what it is that they need, the end users, what information they want and how they want it. So, and that is an open-ended question at this point as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But as time goes on, more and more people are going to want this sort of thing. So, it's worth looking into. Thank you.
And don't the biomat, if I remember correctly, didn't the biomat program, didn't you have to separate the feedstock from urban versus traditional? You're shaking your head. And so I'm curious what methodology is used for keeping that separate now, and how that maybe that's something for a future Ancestry task.
Yeah, that goes in a different direction now, and yeah, so it's usually high hazard fuels that both for biomat or bioram feedstock. Yeah. So, but Jeff, yes, that track and trace is being developed. The state is paying for developing the tracing mechanism. Lomist is developing the platform.
Got it.
And so it's a different, it's a completely different project that, yes, we were involved in as well,
Yeah.
the Watershed Center. But yeah, so that it is being developed on a larger scale again
That's
on the biomass side. So most of it it's energy focused. I always put in the plug, hey, let's talk about some other wood products as well. But yeah, so it is being developed.
that's right. And he co-spoke on a thing in Sacramento in the spring with me, so I did get an opportunity to meet him. Yes.
Yes.
And we talked about some collaboration ideas there, but when we're both have a moment to breathe.
Right. Yeah, if you ever get to Olivehurst, bring a trailer and a checkbook. I mean, Jennifer has some beautiful, beautiful wood and slabs
Thank
in
you.
that facility she just showed. Yeah, it's amazing, and it's a very immersive experience because it just smells so good, and it's a visual and a tactile experience as well. So, yeah, I think most of you are not in state, but if you happen to, yeah, give Jennifer a call and check out the facility.
That's a
Thank you.
great endorsement, a multi-sensory
Right.
experience.
Multi-sensory.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jim.
Oh, I had a question, Jennifer. First of all, this is wonderful. Congratulations. When I first saw this, I'm like, oh, seems like a great idea. I wonder who's behind it. And it looks complicated, but you seem to be a great person to be behind this in terms of your practicality. That's what I was worried about is the practicality part. So it seems really practical and I think really applicable to the people that we've been supporting, the Forest Business Alliance, the small business community. Um, and I was wondering, as this grows, this app has so many uses for so many people. It seems like it would take on a life of its own. How does working on this app, how do you see this going forward with your business? I mean, your business seems not quite such a potentially massive mission to help all these different people that want to use this app in terms of sourcing for all these different reasons. Um, I just see a divergence where, wow, this is going to take a lot of effort to keep refining, doing all this refinement of the app and everyone's, oh, can it do this and can it do that? And working with the software developer and all that. Are you going to be able to keep doing that or are you going to?
There is a team working with me on it because I am so I am not doing the developing, I'm not doing the onboarding, I'm not doing the day to day within Ancestry. It was built for me based upon what my team needed,
Yeah.
and we use it, and I'm an owner in it, but I have partners. And so the day-to-day business is primarily ran as partners. So yes, but my finger is in it. We meet constantly on it, but and then Woodmiser runs it. I've got a staff for that, so they're running that, and I am the face of it, but I'm not doing the work. So not anymore. I paid my 25 years of dues there. So, and then the wood store, we've got a wood products team that manages that as well. So I just oversee the different projects that we have so that I am not spread too thin.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great.
So you're in Portland, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't even looked at the weather yet. What am I stepping into in the morning?
Not too bad. It's raining a little more finally. We're getting more rain. A little
Yeah.
colder than it has been. It's been in the 50s and it's been too warm and too dry. But now it's getting a little more normal. So bring your raincoat.
Yeah, always.
So the app then was developed to meet your needs
Mhm.
initially, and then it's growing as it can meet many other users' needs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So it's being operated as what's called a SaaS business. So a subscription model,
Yeah,
recurring monthly.
yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah. Very innovative. Does anyone else have questions for Jennifer? Okay.
Well, thank you all for listening.
Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. This was so fascinating, and
Well, thank
really
you.
appreciate
Thanks
your
for the
time.
invitation.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer.
yeah. Wishing you and all of the best.
Yeah, good luck with all the growth steps ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Much appreciated.
great.
Right.
Okay. Well, we will close off this month's call, and look forward to seeing everyone next month. And we'll be sending out an email about that, more
All right.
information about that one soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
All
All
right.
right, safe
Thanks, everyone.
travels.